Bridgewater Finance, the Bridgewater Finance Committee meeting for May 18th at 7:13 p.m. The first item on the agenda is, hold on a second, please. Approval of the meeting minutes from our 5-4 meeting. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to take a look at them. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Kathy. Josh, roll call, please.
Nate,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Susie,
I'm sorry I'm late.
I'm glad you're here though.
Yeah.
MJ,
Aye.
Kathy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All right, great. Next order of business is public comments. If we do have public comment, I ask that you state your name and your street address for the public record. Do we have any public comments? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to our first order of new business, FY22-066 contractual buyouts. Tony.
Yes, we have two individuals that are retiring, one that has worked in the library and one that has worked down in inspectional services. And this is the total due under the buyout, which is contractual. I think I've covered the last few meetings where we are with all that, so I won't go into any further detail unless someone has a question.
Anybody have a question, Tony?
I was just curious who in inspectional services is retiring.
Ruth.
Really?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a significant loss of the department.
Mm-hmm.
I know, is Deb Cronin still with the department?
No, Deb retired.
Ooh, double whammy then. Well, looks like it'll fall to Steve then.
Motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Josh, a roll call, please.
Nate,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Susie,
Aye.
MJ,
Aye.
Kathy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All right, thank you, everyone. Moving right along, FY22-067, BFA bargaining contract ratification. Tony.
Yes, the contract has been settled and agreed to. The next order is the funding. The highlights really are twofold. One, there was a COLA adjustment for FY22 of 1.75, 23 of 2%, and 24 of 2%. And there was a 0.25% change in the education as it relates to paramedics. In the prior contract, it was 17% for paramedics licensing, and now it's 17.25. Those are the highlights that will impact the budget and are reflected in the order which comes up next for funding of this contract.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Any questions for Tony?
Yeah, I do. It's Julie. When you say, so is it a 3-year, if it's 22, 23, 24, are they 3-year contracts now? Because I thought, wasn't one
Yes.
time, was it the police that was in 2 and not the firefighters? Or wasn't there one group that was on a,
This is a 3-year contract.
okay. Has it always been a 3-year contract?
Yeah, we've actually, the only reason we moved to some 2-year contracts was during COVID. We made some special agreements. Normally our contracts are 3, but because of the economic conditions and, us not being quite sure what was going to happen, and neither did the bargaining unit, some of them we did a 2-year agreement, but this is not the case. This is a 3-year agreement.
In these contracts, as you alluded to in the previous thing, without giving more details, because we've talked about contractual buyouts, do these contracts not have that sick time buyback stuff for new?
Yeah, that was taken out a number of years ago. I'd have to pull up my notes, but it was
Yep.
grandfathered in a number of years ago prior, I think, when Michael was here last time, prior to 215.
And one last question, can you explain what that education, even though it's only a quarter of a point, like what the whole 17.5, when you say education, is that?
When the town began to create an expanded emergency response ambulance system, the town embarked on an educational incentive for firefighters was a basic, an intermediate, or a paramedic licensing. The standard now in the department is that each firefighter is also a paramedic. And so when that was established prior to me coming on board, so it was pre-215, it was a 17% differential on their base hourly wage. And that hasn't changed since pre-2015. I don't have the contract prior to that. It's been at 17%. And now it's being changed to 17.25%.
Is that like a standard number, like in most communities type of thing? I know it's only a quarter, but the 17 itself, is that? Require that, not require that, provided?
It all depends on the particular town, size of the town, whether or not they have an expectation that they want all of their firefighters to be paramedics, whether they're, so it's dependent upon the municipality.
Thank you.
Tony, how many full-time employees are covered under this?
The budget you approved, I believe, is now at 43.
43?
Yeah. I do not have it in front of me, but I believe that's the number.
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me either. That's why I asked. Okay, thank you, Tony.
Yep.
Anybody else? Questions for Tony? Good questions, by the way, Julie. Thank you. Anything else? Not hearing anything. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Thank you, MJ.
Second.
Thank you. Josh, if we could do a roll call, please.
Nate,
Aye.
Julie,
Oh,
Susie. Susie, you're on mute.
Sorry, aye.
Thank you. MJ,
Aye.
Kathy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Next order of business, FY22-068 contractual assignment BFA. I think as Tony just explained, financing part of what we just recommended. Anything else, Tony? Any questions?
Just for clarification, the first line item is their full-time wages. The second line item is the overtime wages, and the third line item is holiday pay. So those are the majority of the costs that will incur, and then obviously we'll have an increase in our Medicare, and we estimate the cost is $150,000.
In this particular stabilization fund, Tony, how much we have in it? One time?
I think we're down under a couple $100,000 at this point.
In this particular stabilization, okay.
Yeah, the one time. We will go for additional funding come October.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, and again, what we tend to do is we fund that so that when it comes time for the next contracts to be negotiated, we have funds to settle the contracts. So of course, this wouldn't have to be funded again to FY, sometime 24 to 25. So we have time.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, MJ. Josh, if you could do a roll call, please.
Nate,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Susie,
Aye.
MJ,
Aye.
Kathy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Moving on to final new business for the evening, FY23-006 CPA reserve accounts, FY 2023. Tony,
Yeah, this is the FY23 budget. Their budget looks different than most. And the total budget is made up of the various components, right? So $40,000 for administrative expenses. 307,500 is going to be broken out. 307,500. What? Excuse me. Let me pull up something.
Why am I looking at 345? Am I looking at the wrong thing?
I did not write this order. 1 second.
I have 25.9 on the first line.
1 second.
All right.
Gonna
I
take.
see our three buckets here, 3075, right?
Yeah, it's gonna take me a moment to find my notes on this budget. So I can break it down for you. All right. The total appropriation is $1,025,000. 10% is being allocated to the community housing reserve, which is the 102,500. 30% is being allocated to the open space, which is 307,500. 15% is for the historical resource reserve, which is the 153,750. The 25,900 is going into the budgetary reserves. $345,000 is for payment of debt and interest. For the Academy building, and $50,350 is for the Keith Homestead purchase, principal and interest. Those appropriations total $1,025,000. And that's what you have before you. The surcharge amount of the $1,025,000 is $775,000. The state match is $250,000. That's the revenue source to fund these different accounts.
Okay, the first 250, and what was the first thing you said?
775,000 is the CPA surcharge of 2%. It's on the tax bills. And the state contribution is $250,000. That's what we estimate.
Now, the state contribution, that's been dropping, right?
Actually, it's been on the rise again. They changed
Oh, really?
yeah, because of where the fees come from. They increased the fees. They hadn't been increased in a number of years. And then there was a lot of transactions going on at the Registry of Deeds, which is really where these funds come from. So we've seen it head back north. It was low, I think the low, just over $100,000. We got to a low point, and now it's pushed back up, as you can see, to 250.
Now, did they change how they fund it at the state level?
No, they changed the fee. The fee that's being charged, which generates the revenue.
Yeah.
The fee went up, and they hadn't increased the fee for a number of years.
Okay.
Tony, I have a couple of questions for the two latter parts of the order itself. I know we're doing payment for the Academy building project. That's the building project we had the last couple of years that ended in 2016.
Yeah, that's the principal and interest. Yes.
How long do we have that on the books before we have that paid off?
It's a 20-year note.
Okay.
So I think we bonded it sometime in 16 or 17.
Yeah, so it'd be 2040 something then, or 2030. The other item is the Keith Homestead. I know we dispositioned with that a while back. How much longer do we have to have the payment on that to clear that debt?
I don't have that in front of me. I can certainly provide you guys with the debt schedule for both of those.
Yeah.
Josh can send that off.
Where the Keith Homestead is, for those that may not be familiar, I mean, we all know where the Academy building is, but where is the Keith Homestead purchase? Where is that?
That's
land
over,
space?
if I remember correctly, Julie, that's, and forgive me if I'm incorrect, Tony, I believe that's the house that was over on Lake Nipponicket that we purchased it for purposes of historic preservation. We really didn't have the ability to do anything with it. We then, if I remember correctly, we dispensed with it to DCR, and then DCR, I believe, sold it over to either the National Resources Trust or some other nonprofit organization that is preserving it as it stands right now.
We took it predates me. It was 2012. The max number of years it would be bonded for is 20. More likely it was 15. And as I said, I'll get that information to Josh and he could send that off to you.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, it's down at the end of Lakeside on the right-hand side. It's a beautiful property.
Yeah,
There's a little path out to the lake there too.
it's one of the best views in town.
Yeah, and that would have been for open space, clearly.
You know, Tony, in all the conversations I've had about the CPA accounts over the years, one thing I don't think that, how is the division of the funds figured out? Is it
By law, we're required to put 10% minimum, 10% into the reserves, or a minimum of 10% expended in one of those three buckets: community housing, open space, or historical resources. So we actually put those amounts into a separate account.
Yep.
To be in compliance with the law. Any revenue that's generated above and beyond that goes to undesignated fund balance and can be used for any one of those three purposes.
Okay, but the minimum is 10% to.
Yes, and historically what has happened, it was because the town at the time they had established this, and then when I came on board, they were putting the minimum amount. And that was the practice. And the reason they just put the minimum amount, because it then allowed for any surplus to go into undesignated. And again, anything in undesignated in the CPC fund can be used for any one of the authorized areas: community housing, open space, and historical resource reserves. So that's been how they've handled it. The CPC receives a report each and every month. Josh, do you know if we're sending a copy of the report to this body?
For the CPC,
Yeah,
unless it's included in that finance report that Lori has me send out to everybody, then
no, okay, so what we'll do is we'll put you on the loop, Josh, so you can distribute it, so you can see what we have in fund balance. We certainly continue to build reserves. Because finding the projects in some cases has been difficult, those coming from the public. But the memorial building, which is across the way from the Academy building, is another project that's been funded by CPC. Now, you do see those money orders whenever there's a project coming through, because you have those referred to you by council. So any order for any project that gets approved, you're a body that votes on whether to approve, support or not support those orders. I don't believe there's been one order that's come through the process that you have not supported.
Right, but I think maybe and correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, maybe you're trying to decide, like, if we know, now that we know it's 10% minimum, and tonight you just said like 10%, 30%, 15%, but we don't know what the beginning, what the balance of each category was.
Yeah,
We're not gonna say, no, you can't do an open space thing, because God knows the public would.
No,
More
yeah.
houses, but, it is nice to know the beginning and the ending balance, and shame on us that we didn't keep.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying it's typically been a board that has had full oversight, and they've given, they've been very diligent, and also they've done their due diligence and made sure that any projects that come through have been forwarded. So on the appropriation side, you've gotten the information, but you're right, you don't have the balances, and that's what we give. We give a balance sheet and a budget every month to the CPC. So I will begin to loop you guys in on that, starting with May's report.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Don.
then you'll know what the balances are.
Yeah, I know that over the years, we've seen many of these, and the CPC, they do a very thorough job. And they always come to our meetings and explain it to us, which is great. I think the last one we did was the pickleball courts, right? Last one we saw?
That was a project that you did, and then you had some significant funding for the memorial building.
And Miguel Lane, I believe, and
You did $200,000 for a steeple.
the lights at Legion Field.
Yep.
That's another
And-
CPC, yeah.
And I'm sure if you would request a list of projects that they have put together over the last 5 years, they could give you something as well.
Be quite good. All right, but that's great, Tony. I'm sure the committee will look forward to seeing those CPA reports.
Yep.
So I have a thought, and I feel like I don't have all the background, but it just seems like $1 million is a lot, and that there have been all these other things, with the water issues, all these other expenses, and it just seems like, do we really need to spend $1 million here?
Okay,
I mean, it
so
just seems like
Kathy, let me help you out here. The town voted a CPA surcharge back when the Community Preservation Act was accepted by the town. This surcharge can only be used for this purpose. There's no way to divert these funds to any capital, any operating budget. It is not under the general law, which the town accepted when they voted for a Community Preservation Act. It was voted so that these additional monies would be raised on the taxes and used for the three purposes that the fund was intended to support. So this $1 million, it cannot be used for anything else. If the town decided to stop the surcharge and discontinue it, then you wouldn't get any money from the state, and you wouldn't get any additional funds added to the tax bills, and there'd be no money to appropriate from.
That was a
Does it-
good question though, Kathy.
Yeah, does that help clear it up for you?
Yeah, thanks.
So it's outside the general budget, I guess, is the best way to think of it, Kathy, because it is a special, it's a special fund for special purposes, essentially.
Okay, thanks.
Makes you wonder why we're the ones that is.
Yeah, I mean, like it does make me like think like us approving it is just a formality because it doesn't seem like there's any other recourse.
Well, we could maybe reallocate where the 30 versus the 10 versus, if you don't agree with the breakout, right, Tony?
Oh.
What we would be disputing, basically.
I guess you could. I think part of some of these votes are simply that you're in the know and you're aware of what the Community Preservation Act is and that the town adopted it and that monies are put into a particular fund. You're just part of the process, and council cannot take a vote because of the charter has been structured unless you make a recommendation. This is more setting up the budget for the year. And for you to be in the know, and then those appropriations that come out of that fund, you certainly weigh in on. So I think it all serves you being the eyes and ears of the public and understanding what CPA surcharge is all for and what it's about and how those monies are used. That would be my guess.
Yeah, really, when we get into the deeper conversations, Kathy, is when we have a specific project in front of us, so to speak, to make a recommendation on.
Yeah, that's where you can say, I don't think this is a project we should be supporting.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, any other questions for Tony? Yeah, the CPA is its own animal, that's for sure. I've learned a lot about it over the years. Committee. Does anybody else have any questions for Tony? Comments? Thoughts?
Motion to approve.
Second,
Thank you, thank you. Josh, we get a vote, please. Roll call.
Nate,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Susie,
Aye.
MJ,
aye.
Kathy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Hey, thank you, everyone. It's fairly quick compared to some of our meetings we've had of late. So we already had the conversation, Susie, before you came on. So we will have our next meeting on June 1st. Because Tony, you did say we'll have a couple of orders referred to us on the 24th. And then we'll plan on meeting again on the 15th, and that will be year-end transfers.
Nate, as far as the date goes, knowing that myself and Kathy can't be here on the 1st, or
Yeah.
should we have a backup date? Like if Eric and Chris or one of those other, you would need 2 of those 3 that didn't make it tonight to make it. So.
And we got well, it's Rig and Leah too. Yeah, I mean, I guess not knowing what the orders are that are coming out of town council, on the 24th. I really like to keep the 15th open for the year-end transfers as much as possible. I would say probably that Monday, the 30th. Well, that'd be
Monday the
before.
30th, it's a holiday. It would have to be Monday the
Okay.
6th then.
It'd be Monday the 6th. Okay, so Monday the 6th would be our backup date. Julie, thank you.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there to other people. I
Yeah.
don't know if everybody can make Monday the 6th either. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, with enough notice, I can make anything happen with my schedule at this point.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so Josh, let's plan on June 1st for our next meeting. And we'll keep the 6th in our back pocket if we need it for a backup date. Then looking a little farther forward, the 15th will be an important meeting here in transfers. Okay, does anybody have anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Julie. Josh, if we could have a roll call?
Nate,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Susie,
Aye.
MJ,
Aye.
Kathy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion was approved. Meeting's adjourned.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Good night.
Have a
You're
good
Good
night.
night.
Talk to you later.
Bye.